Okay, we're starting off ground zero from the home screen on my phone. The verbiage that we just wrote suggested several criteria to use. For this demonstration, I'll use $10 to $25 of the cost of the security, 10 to 75% payout ratio, and as a first cut, we'll look at all stocks. And we will start with dividend stocks app and go from there. So let's go down to DS, dividend stocks, and we'll bring that up. First thing that comes up is forthcoming ex-dividend dates by which you have to have bought the stock to be able to participate in the forthcoming dividends. And we'll go down here and look at monthly dividend stocks, which I just clicked. And we'll notice here that it's going through its database and it came up with 385 stocks of which pay monthly dividends, which is what we're interested in for cash flow to add to our portfolio for our spouse. Let's look at the screener, and we go into the screener and we have several things that we can look in. If you're interested in market capitalization or price to earnings ratio or dividend yield, in this particular case we wanted a price to earning ratio, a dividend yield somewhere around the 10 to maybe 25% yield. So let's just say we want to look at minimum of 10% and not to get too outlandish. Let's put in 18 just as a first cut. You can put in PE ratio if you want to, and also obviously price. So we know that we want the price to be a minimum of $10 and a maximum of 25. So we've entered that, and we'll do a submit. And this is going through now. You'll see the screen come up. We're doing a database search, and now it comes up and it says, okay, there are 26 stocks that meet that criteria. So we can go down through here and just do a quick look at them. There's AGNC Investment Corp. that falls within our dollar figure of 10 to 25. And the dividends, we did that and said its yield is 12.89%, and it amounts to $2.16 per share per month. Keep that in mind. It has a history of 76 payments, which is on the order of almost 7 years. 7/12 is, 6 years, 6/12 72. So it's over 6 years. They just paid dividends. So we can take a closer look at AGNC, see what its beta is, what industry it's in, etc. And this is where you just cycle down through here. I know Vermilion Energy is a Canadian company, which is okay, but it's also in the oil industry, which I tend to shy away because of previous bad luck in that particular industry. REITs and real estate typically pay high dividends for investors, and this might be one you might look at. So this one's paying 11.23%, $1.74 per share. And we'll talk about these other dates here as we roll along. So that's one you might look at. And again, we'll just go right on down through here. Another financial company just over our $10 threshold, 1071. Another real estate REIT. You get the idea. There's a fund, another energy one, another credit company. Let's just take a look at what they're doing. So that's got a yield of 13.24% annually, and they've only have a history of 18 monthly payments. So based on that alone, I would not go any further investigating ECC. So I think you start to get the idea. You can come down here and see, okay, this one, Virtuous, has only made 19, approaching 2 years. So let's say that we skip that. We'll go on to the next page, and you just go down through here and cycle till you find one of interest. Stone Harbor Merger Markets is 15.54%. They have a history of almost 3 years, and the fund is EDF. So you might say, okay, I'm going to look at EDF as another stock potential. So we got EDF and we got AGNC so far. Okay, so that's just the way you cycle through. You don't have all that many that you have to look at, and you just say, okay, I'm going to do that. Horizon happens to be a company that I'm personally invested in. Its dividend is right at 10%, pays 10 cents per month dividend, which is $120 a year. And look at the history, it's made 89 monthly payments, which is 8/12 is 96, almost 8 years worth of payments. And that's one that would definitely be of interest since I already pre-qualified it. So let's just use Horizon as a example. So we're this far. So the next thing we want to do is say, okay, what can we find out about these companies? So let's bail out of the app Dividend Stocks app and go over to Yahoo Finance and do some more research on, let's say, Horizon in this case. So we'll go down here to Yahoo Finance and bring it up, and we'll get back to the basic screen, and we'll put in the Horizon symbol, HRZN, and Horizon comes up. We'll click on Horizon, and we see it's 1182. It's got a nice graph. We can look at, hey, that's a 5-year. If you want to do a little bit closer, you can look at 1 year and see what the price has been doing. That's the summary. I always like to look at what the high and lows have been. So here's a stock that's trading now at 1188, and the high's been 1191. So it's trading. I'm sorry, the current high for the day is 1191. Its spread for 52 weeks is roughly 10 to 13 and a half. So you're almost right in the middle of it. So it hasn't been going all over the place, and it has a relatively low beta that you can see right here of 0.49, and you can see the annual dividend of 10.15% is being paid on an annualized basis of 1.2, and the pundits at Yahoo estimated 1-year target of $11. So that looks like it meets most of the criteria that you might come up with. It's got a decent price spread. It falls into the $10 to $25. It's got a decent return of a little over 10%, and it's got a track record of paying dividends, which says, okay, this is something we might go with, and go with it you might. So you just keep doing this till you look through the stocks and see what you want. You might want to know, okay, this says in here how long they paid dividends for back in the dividend screening. But if you want to do a little bit more search, we can bail out and we'll actually go to Google and we'll search on dividend high, dividend history. You put the stock symbol in, HRZN, and hit go, and NASDAQ came up with Horizon's stock history, and there now we're looking at the stock history for Horizon for many years, and what it was, how much cash it was, 10 cents, all the dates, and it tells you when they've declared it, when the record date was, etc. So you just go on from there, and it fills you up. There's also tabular ones usually, and this is just another history, and get the same thing. This tells you, I actually like that one better and I screwed up. You can get a tabular form like a spreadsheet that tells you a little bit more. So we've done that. So the next thing you do, if you have a portfolio, let's say 3 or 4 of these stocks, you need something to track what your dividends are doing, so you don't have to do it all by longhand. And an app to do that is something called Hold It. So if we go down, and I can find it here, the Hold It app, hold right there, and you put in your stocks, and this will tell you on a monthly basis for the number of shares that you particularly hold in it, what you can expect. This is before taxes, which is what would go into your stock account, or if it has a DRIP, the direct reinvestment program, that you would be reinvesting on a monthly basis, or you can roll it over and invest in whatever you want to. Some of these companies, by the way, like OXLC, do have a direct drip that puts these in. So in summary, I showed you a stock screener for dividend stocks that we went to when we looked at some symbols, and we looked at Horizon, and it came up good. You might also want to look at the Horizon annual report, which you can get through a Google search, etc., and put in your criteria and refine it and go from there.